planned event. I'm Erica Elk. I'm the director of the Cape Craft and Design Institute. And sure, it's been quite a journey to get here. It was actually only 6 months ago that we launched our second round of design innovation seed funding. And it's been a very extensive and intensive process since then, driven almost at lightning speed with super X-ray vision in terms of paying attention to detail of Ryan Rode, who is project managing this project and is being very, where is he, Ryan? Trying to not have any spotlight shown on him. Thank you, Ryan. So the order of proceedings today is I'm going to give you a little bit of background into what we're doing here about the Design Innovation Seed Fund. I've got a lot of people to thank because actually there are a lot of people involved in getting us to this point. And then we have the 7 recipients of the awards are going to take you through very sort of high-level summaries of their innovation or their idea. And then a couple of speeches from Tia and Dida. So bear with us. I hope this will be fruitful and interesting. So just first a bit of background. Some of you may not know much about the Cape Craft and Design Institute, but we are a 16-year-old not-for-profit, which is probably an achievement in itself in South Africa. And we've had a mission to develop the craft and design sector over the last decade plus, to build a sustainable sector that makes a powerful contribution to the economy of South Africa. And we are really good at spotting opportunities for growth in the sector, but also gaps in terms of support to SMEs in the environment. And 2 of those really significant gaps, particularly in South Africa, is support for and the stimulation of innovation, of new ideas, new products, new services, new systems, and access to finance. And the Design Innovation Seed Fund is a project where we're actually bringing together a particular response to those 2 gaps in the ecosystem. The Design Innovation Seed Fund, we're in our second iteration, so we ran a first round between 2014 and 2016, and we're now launching the second round. Essentially, how it works is we provide a grant of up to 500,000 rand, not dollars, unfortunately, to an innovative idea or solution. And we work with the innovator, with the entrepreneur, over a period of a year or more to implement kind of next step activities to get to the point where they're ready to commercialize their innovation. So it's not just money that we're throwing into the pot. We're actually throwing in a system of support and milestones and deliverables to sort of keep everybody on kind of point and on discipline in terms of what it is that they're trying to achieve. So to get us to this point where we are today, and we can introduce the 7 new recipients, took a huge amount of effort. So the first thank you is to the Western Cape Government through its Department of Economic Development and Tourism and the Technology Innovation Agency, who are coming on board with the grant funding as well as the support to support the management part of the fund. In the second iteration, we decided, with learning lessons from our first iteration, we decided to focus the call on specific sectors that have been prioritized as important sectors by national and provincial government, and those are agro-processing, manufacturing, health, and biotech. And we did this because we realized after the first round that while we want to support innovation, we don't just want to support innovation for its own sake. That actually we'd love to do that, because you never know where the next Facebook or Tesla or whoever is hiding, and we can't actually kind of manipulate the environment to that extent. But the reality is we have limited resources. So if we're applying limited resources, how do we do that smartly to have maximum effect? And if on the one hand, national government and provincial government are focusing on priority sectors that they are saying will generate economic growth and contribute to job creation, etc., then if we were getting into that slipstream and supporting early stage innovation in those environments, then surely we're prioritizing the use of our resources. So that was our reasoning behind focusing on these 4 areas. But we're the Cape Craft and Design Institute. So what do we know about biotech and what was the other one? Agro-processing. We know a bit about manufacturing. And so we pulled together an investment committee who have supported the decision-making process. And they spent an inordinate amount of time going through the applications and reviewing then a due diligence process and coming to the decision that these would be the 7 that we would support. So I want to just name them and thank them because they did all of this on a voluntary basis. The IC consisted of Helmut Herzog, who's the CEO of Cerebi, Dr. Janine Chanson, who's the Director and TTO at GWC, Nazim Steris, who's the CEO of the Western Cape Fine Food Initiative, Hein Kun, who is the CEO of Nerve Data and was a design innovation around 1 beneficiary, so was coming with insights around the previous process. Peter van der Zee, who is an investment executive at Inventfin, Charlene Stein, who's a senior productivity advisor at Productivity SA, and Alexi Ali, who is from Strategic Initiatives at the Western Cape Provincial Department of Economic Development and Tourism, and was the chairperson of that committee. So I think you can see from just the description of those people that they were bringing real weight to the decision-making process. I also want to thank our external members who supported our steering committee, Sharif Davids from Province and Sabri Marais, who is the most recently departed seed fund head at TIA. And then we went through a very thorough due diligence process. So our process was we shortlisted a number of applicants, and then they went through a due diligence process. Unfortunately for the potential recipients and the guys who were doing our due diligence, it all had to happen over December and January. So while we were all sunbathing on the beach, they were busy doing due diligences. And so for that, I want to thank Mululeke Khoza and Naim Rasool who did that process for us. So Design Innovation Seed Fund 1 was a great success. We had 12 businesses who generated revenue in excess of 1.5 million and leveraged an additional 10 million rand in funding into their businesses and ideas. And they also created 18 jobs off the back of that process. So remember, this is about funding early stage innovation. We had absolutely no expectation about revenue generation and job creation. So there's something magic that happens in the process that we are embarking on, and no pressure to the 7 new beneficiaries, but actually in a way we are expecting a little bit more than just taking your innovations to next stage. I want to stop here. I've got a lot more to say, but I want to hand over to Mike Evans, who is a senior partner at Weber Wenzel, who have very graciously given us this venue to host this event today. And I know that he has some profound things to say.